All right. Hey, welcome everybody. It is 7 o'clock Wednesday. That means it's time for Sci-Fi Distilled. Welcome back, Mary Beth, of course.
Hello.
How
How
are
goes
you?
it?
It goes. It
It
goes.
goes. It's
It
hump day, so
goes.
it goes.
Summer is almost over. Can you believe it's going to be Labor
Summer
Day?
Friday is the
Labor Day
1st of
this weekend.
September.
Labor
How
Day.
did that
It's so
happen?
crazy. That's a big holiday for those that are not Americans. It's the end of our summer, basically, holiday.
Now the kids back to school.
Kids are back to school this week.
Parents rejoicing everywhere. Get
Yes. Happiest time of the year. So today we are doing this is another Make Me Watch. We haven't done these in a while. So Mary Beth has never seen Hudson Hawk.
I hadn't, and you chose this, and
I
had
chose
my
this, and I don't know why I chose because I know a lot of people
still have my
do
doubts.
not like this movie. It is not well liked. I think it's got
It
a
is
5 on-
polarizing, and
yeah,
we will discuss why in
we'll
great
discuss
detail.
why. So I'll discuss why I picked it when we go. But before we do that, I know you got a whole bunch of news.
I have a ton of news, you guys. I have so much Star Trek news. Let me try to actually whip through irrelevant news so I can get to the Star Trek news. And we will be doing Ahsoka reviews tonight too. Tonight, guys, it's a super blue moon tonight. Super because it's as the moon goes around, it's the closest it gets to the Earth, and blue because it's 2 full moons in 1 month. The next regular blue moon is next year, but the next super blue moon is 2037. Speaking of the moon, go India. Last week, while we were sitting here talking about lower decks, India quietly became the first country to land an unmanned spacecraft on the moon's south pole. This is a historic landing in uncharted territory. They're hoping this area, scientists believe this area holds important reserves of ice, which to me just reminded me so much of For All Mankind. Do you remember on For All Mankind when Molly...
They're looking for the ice, yeah.
Molly was chipping away. She's like down on the thing and chipping away. I was like, oh my God, is that what they're doing?
It's a big deal because really cool. It means there's sustainability. There could sustain a colony.
Exactly.
Without, because you get not only get water from ice, you can get oxygen from that water.
Exactly.
And fuel with the hydrogen.
Which we do need to do For All Mankind at some point. I haven't done season 3 yet. Just
probably. I don't know when they're going to release. Last I talked to Denise Okuda, she thought it was just going to drop around December of this year. But she didn't know for sure. So I'm thinking we'll probably do maybe either a pre one and then going into this is going to be season 4, right?
Yes.
So maybe we'll do a show of season 1 through 3, and then right before
that would be fine because that's what I will have watched. I gotta catch up on season 3. I will get there.
It's so good. It is just a really and it's funny because when I first saw the trailer for it, I didn't like maybe it was the nationalism in me that the whole thing about the Russians getting to the moon first. It kind of set me off for the whole alternate history thing.
Yeah,
but I watched it. And it really is a great show.
It's a great show.
So well done. And it's such a great take on what if.
It's
a what if show, but it's fleshed out way more than that.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the way each season it kind of jumps.
Real historical events, but
the first season was kind of just what would have been the Apollo missions, and then what would have followed had we continued. And then
and season 2
they're already into the shuttle era, and now
the
third season they're going to Mars.
So
it's very cool.
Very cool.
So anyway, go ahead, continue.
I keep going. Moving on with the news. Dune 2 has been delayed. It was supposed to be this fall, but it's been delayed to March 14, 2024, a direct result of the strike. The strike strikes again. The strike has also struck Disney Plus, which has canceled 2 shows that were already in the can. They were done film. They were ready to go. They're going to kill Nautilus and Spiderwick, both of which were eagerly anticipated. Nautilus was going to focus on Captain Nemo and the origins of his iconic submarine, and Spiderwick was based on the popular Spiderwick. They're like young adult books, whatever they are. Moving on. We're going to skip that one. Moving on. John Wick created. Oh, yeah. Okay. Rizzo, I want to know your opinion on this. John Wick director Chad Stahelski. John Wick director Chad is rebooting Highlander, starring Henry Cavill. Do we need a Highlander reboot?
Probably not.
I think probably not too.
I think Dave Lafredo would say you need as long as they're doing it sword fights on flying surfboards.
They may be. I don't know. He says this guy Chad says the story engages a lot of the same characters, but we also added elements from the TV shows.
You know what? Honestly. When we just did Highlander recently, what was it, a few months ago, and I rewatched it, and I know a lot of people did. I don't think it held up as good watching, and I hadn't seen it probably in 25 years, 30 years, and I don't think it really held up. So I think it probably, if it's done right, and I think Cavill's a perfect person.
Yeah, I think Cavill will do justice.
I do think he's the perfect person. I think it could work, and I think it could be a good movie, and I think it could be a worthy reboot.
Yes,
it could. It's done right.
In all fairness, this is still in the development stage, so it may happen, it may not, but they want to do it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, but that's just, we'll see. I'm not a really big fan of reboots.
Yeah, exactly. Rick and Morty season 7 slated for October 15th. We don't know who the new voices are going to be, and critics who apparently have nothing better to do are already saying, "Hey, this is a show about like multiverses and we've already seen many different Ricks and many different Mortys. So couldn't a different Rick have a different voice?" So they've chosen to use sound-alikes, and they're like, "No, that was dumb. That was a mistake." I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Are you gonna watch it?
I'll watch it. I mean, I'll always give it a shot. But this may be we might be seeing the beginning of the end of Rick and Morty.
We might be seeing the beginning of the end. People are saying, this was an opportunity to do like really creative storytelling. You have a multiverse.
They could. You're right, and I see what they're saying. They could take this, make it an opportunity out of exactly. Take lemons, make lemonade, that sort of thing. Find and then you find someone with vodka and make cocktails. But
and there you go.
And then you got cocktails. So it could work. I know what they're saying. I don't know because every Rick we've ever met in every multiverse sounded exactly like the
Rick.
Other Rick. Same with Morty.
Exactly. So, Rick is Rick.
So yeah, so to say that it could be a different Rick in a different universe, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Right.
We'll see how well the voice. Sometimes they do a really good.
And I don't know who's been cast yet, so we'll find out. So October 15th, we will find out. All right, let's do some Star Trek news. I have all kinds of Star Trek news tonight, guys. 8 days until Lower Decks, and of course, Star Trek Day is September 8th. On September 8th, 1966, of course, 57 years ago, the original aired, and September 8th, 1973. 50 years ago, the animated series aired. So, of course, there will be a special Star Trek Day program. It is hosted by Jerry O'Connell this year instead of Will Wheaton last year. Things that this will include a look back at memorable moments. They're going to pay tribute to Star Trek Discovery before its final season. They will, of course, commemorate 50 years of Star Trek animation, and I'll talk about that in a second. There's going to be an exclusive sneak peek clip from the upcoming 4th season of Lower Decks and more. Where can you watch this? Literally everywhere. StarTrek.com, Paramount Plus, YouTube, Facebook, Pluto TV, Mixable, some local CBS affiliates, Comedy Central. I mean, it's just everywhere. In addition, CBS will also broadcast the first 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds at 8 p.m. They're gonna so episode 101, which is Strange New World, and episode 102, which is Children of the Comet. So you can see that on CBS. And of course,
the first season. You got to be clear on
that.
Yeah,
first season.
On broadcast.
Yeah, on broadcast. Yes.
Right.
And there will also be, of course, there's always Star Trek Day merchandise with a 25% off site-wide if you go.
Nerds in a Barrel.
Nerds in a Barrel, Star Trek Day. Okay, let's get to the animated part because this sounds a little more interesting. So they're celebrating their 50th. They are having their own kick-ass free, not that kick-ass because I'll tell you why, free screenings across the country. It's absolutely free. All you have to do is register. The day offers sneak peeks, surprises, free concessions, giveaways, and more. Huh?
I'm sorry that I'm being licked, and I'm just trying to tell her that I'm busy.
Let her lick. These screenings are going to be in Columbus, Dallas, Denver, Philadelphia, Phoenix, San Diego, St. Louis, Washington, D.C., Vancouver, Calgary, and London, England. Don't get too excited. I went on the website and looked to see I wanted to see if there's one in Boston near me. There never is. And they were all already waitlist only. Like they're already full. So, but I will put the link in the chat if you guys are interested in trying to sign up. In other Star Trek news, moving on now, motivated fans took things into their own hands to save Star Trek Prodigy. So they've been buying media, physical media such as DVDs and merch. On August 26th, they hired a plane to fly with the Save Star Trek Prodigy banner flying behind it. It flew over Los Angeles. It circled the Netflix offices on Sunset Boulevard and went to circle the offices for Hulu, Apple, and Amazon, which are all possible future homes for Prodigy. In attendance were like Prodigy cosplayers. Yay, that's great. But also co-executive producer Aaron Waltke. Aaron Waltke told reporters this is a huge boost to morale, and the powers that be are aware of the efforts. The fans are being heard, and this is making a difference. So I don't know, maybe Prodigy will get picked up. Banner campaigns like this have played a part in previous fan efforts. It saved Timeless. It saved The Expanse, which I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It did work. Amazon picked it up. Of course, to compare Star Trek Prodigy to The Expanse.
I know, right?
It's
not. There's no.
Not in the same ballpark.
And here's the thing: this was all raised and organized by a British fan, a UK fan named Michelle Stokes. She used a GoFundMe campaign. She raised $1,517 to pay for this flight. Flights are not that expensive.
It's not a lot of money.
Or maybe she footed them. Like, how much do you think there is?
$1,000. That's it. That was your.
If it's like $5,000, did she pay the other $4,000? Like, how did that work?
I don't know how much it costs to do a banner flying thing. I have no idea what.
Neither do I.
But $1,000 doesn't seem. It's not a lot of money.
No, it's really not. And finally tonight in Star Trek news, earlier this year, and this is a weird little tidbit, but earlier this year, the news hit that Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh would be returning to the role of Emperor Filippo Giorgio in an original movie event, a Section 31 movie event. However, we've seen the production, like people have seen the production info, and they pass along the following update. The project has October 23 through December 8th penciled in for Toronto for using the sets in Toronto. However, that's very, 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 very tentative because there's still an ongoing
strike. That's assuming the strike doesn't happen.
That's assuming the strike. But what's really interesting is there's a different. Sorry. There's a different title listed for the project. It's called now on the production thing, Star Trek Station 31, and it's listed as a series. So people are like, we don't know what's happening. We're completely confused. No one knows what's going on.
CBS or Paramount knows.
No, I don't think they know either. I think it's still a movie, and I think it is still Section 31. I literally think that was a mistake. I don't think it's changing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just they seem to be, I know there was talk about obviously Star Trek Legacies, which I think could be a really good thing if they keep to
but maybe they're trying to fool us, like Blue Harvest us. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're trying to.
Maybe I don't know. I've lost a lot of faith in Paramount. I'm sorry. It's just they just have. I'm very excited about Lower Decks. The new season. I've been binging. I didn't tell you that. I've been binging 1 through 3.
I should.
Some of it is just.
I watched a few last week when we reviewed Lower Decks, and I was like, once again, just astounded at how good it really is. Yeah. It's a good show.
I was just watching today. I just watched the one with the holodecks when they have to do the training, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The one that naked time one. The naked time one. Oh my god.
It's a good show. Hey, there's Alex. Hi, Alex. Hi, Bill. Hi, Dr. Alexander. The Shadow
I've been looking at all you guys that have been dropping in, and I wanted to say hello to everybody.
Jeff is here. Bill Sotak's here. Hello, hello. How is everyone? Dennis Chevalier is here. Hi, guys. And Alex.
Thanks for joining us. So is that the news?
Yes, that's the news. So what's going to happen now is Rizzo is going to put up a timer and a banner on the bottom.
We got two actually.
We do have 2 episodes.
We're going to do the 2 Ahsokas because one just dropped last night at 9:00. Yeah, so definitely if you haven't seen that one, you're going to want to. That'll be the second
half of last week, and then today.
Let me get my banner up. There we go. So all right,
Fez is here. Hi, Fez.
So here we go. All right, let me lower the volume on the timer. Okay, so second episode wasn't really any faster than the first episode. Although it's okay. I think they're laying groundwork. I want to say that. I'm still optimistic. I'm still optimistic. I think they're laying groundwork. You're right. It's a little draggy at times, but I still think
introducing ideas that we didn't know.
I'm still
backstory that we didn't.
Yeah, I'm still fanning over the fact that they pulled all these people. Basically, it's Star Wars Rebels continue.
Yeah, it's season 4 or 5 of Rebels.
Or whatever Rebels was. So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool. I assume we're going to see Ezra Bridger at some point. He's
Yeah.
certainly mentioned many times.
Yeah.
And then of course we know we're gonna see Thrawn because we've already seen him in the trailer.
Yeah, I'm in the trailer.
What we were talking about, we hope what is there, 8 episodes, 9, whatever it is.
There's only 8. We're 3 in.
If they bring Thrawn in on the very end of the last episode, I'm going to be annoyed. Because then it's like, with the strike and both strikes going on, we're not going to see another season of this for like 2 years at best. And it's Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. So I was just gonna say this was the episode that was largely preoccupied with Hera and Ahsoka going to the shipyard, but secondarily, it was preoccupied with this invisible backstory that we don't know about, which is, oh hey, did you guys know Ahsoka took Sabine on as a Padawan for a hot minute there? And we're all like,
that was not in Rebels. Yeah, that wasn't in Rebels. So.
Oh, okay. I guess that happened. You're not gonna tell us about it. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, well, she is Mandalorian, I guess, but they're kind of implying that she's not force sensitive, though.
She never was before. It's questionable.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But remember, Ahsoka's not officially a Jedi. She left the Jedi Order.
True. So I guess it would be
not
fine.
Not actually a Jedi.
Not training a real Jedi.
Rules.
I don't know.
There's rules. Those are the rules, Patrick. Those are the rules. Sorry, I just watched that Family Guy episode. Why can't I wear my loafers? Those are the rules, Patrick.
You need the shoes.
Sorry.
Does everybody have their shoes?
Watch Family Guy. It's season 7 episode. It's like season 7 episode. I don't know.
Takes Michael to the bathroom. I don't know which way it went.
Yeah, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Watch that episode. Anyway, so overall, though, I think it's picking up. We're going to get into season 2, or excuse me, episode 3, rather, in a second, because it does pick up. So we can really just start talking about that one.
Yes. So this next one, episode 3, it does pick up. We finally see a little space battle, people shooting at each other. It's old school. Hey, did you notice that Sabine and Ahsoka were saying copy a lot? They always used to do that. That seems new.
They said what?
Copy. She'd be like, "Go! I need you on the back gun. Copy that," and she'd run for it.
I did not notice that there was a particular.
I was like, I don't remember Star Wars using
copy.
There was a lot of
but there was a good space battle. There was actually some good sword fighting too, and then the cool space battle where the Ahsoka ship is disabled and the fighters are coming after her, and she basically does a spacewalk and starts like fighting them with. We fight ships with our lightsabers by standing in space on the wing of our ship. It was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool, but it was kind of, I don't know. I was like, oh, this is a thing now? Okay, we just use our lightsaber to...
Well, it was just, they kind of did, didn't they? I want to say they did something in the third prequel there. I want to say Anakin did something like that, where he slashed I don't know. Something similar.
I remember. Do you remember the speeders through the redwood forest? Luke lopped off the front of the speeder, and it went.
There was that. There was that.
I get, but in space.
Well, the other thing that I thought was kind of funny is she kind of jumps away from the ship and she's out there floating. And she's just like, "Oh, you need to come get me," and I'm like, "But you have the Force. Can't you just force your way back down to the ship?"
Leia forced.
Right. So why did you need her to come get you? But she just rotated because Ahsoka's ship does that weird rotating thing. So anyway, so then they land. I really like the guy that plays the bad Jedi or the bad. Sith.
That's Ray Stevenson.
Yeah, he is awesome.
Balin. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm devastated. Ray has passed. He is no longer with us.
Yeah.
And that is too bad because we could have seen a lot more of him.
Yeah, he also played Black. Remember the show I told you to watch, Black Sails?
Oh yes, that's right.
And yeah, he played Blackbeard.
Black Sail.
He played Blackbeard.
Edward Teach, excellent.
Yeah, Edward Teach. So because I kept on, where do I know this guy? And of course, I looked him up. I'm like, that's what he was. So I really do recommend that if you want a good series to watch.
Back to Ahsoka. Did anybody else, when Ahsoka was flying at that ring, did anyone else remind you of The Expanse?
Yeah, kind of. Well, you know what it reminds me of? You remember in I think it was Clone Wars, where Obi-Wan had that ship that would have the little ring that would go around it. That was his hyperdrive ring. and it would take his little fighter.
Oh, that's right.
And then he would like abandon it,
mode.
like he would jettison it and then go land and then come back to it later, like he just leave it in orbit.
That's right.
So I'm wondering if there's going to be a
lane.
giant ship that's going to stick itself into that thing.
They did leave a comment in there somewhere, like I've never seen one this big.
This
and it's
big, yeah, it's a hyperdrive ring to go to another galaxy. So I think I'm optimistic still. I'm not giving up faith in it. I think it's picking up. So we'll give it 20 episodes.
The conversations are slow, particularly conversations between Ahsoka and Hu Yang. They're slow. The editing needs to be faster.
Okay, I would agree with you there. Okay, so that is the end of that.
Yeah, Alex says Ray Stevenson was a treasure. I'm sure he was. He's so good in this. And it just makes you just like, oh.
He has one of those really great voices too.
Yeah.
So before we get into the Hawk, we do have a drink, and I thought it was rather appropriate.
What a great drink.
He liked his cappuccinos, and he didn't get one till the very end.
Perfect drink for tonight.
So yeah, this one actually looks pretty good. Chocolate vodka, Bailey's, Kahlua. You really can't beat the mix.
I would drink the hell out of this.
I would probably drink that. Yes, I would probably drink that. Even though it probably comes with a purse, I would drink it. Kent, you there? No. Sorry. So we might have to try that one night because that one looks. I don't think I have the chocolate vodka.
I'm sure that's requirable.
I have Bailey's and Kahlua.
I have those two items.
The problem with Bailey's is once you open it, you kind of have to drink it. It will not last forever because it is a cream-based liquor. So just be careful.
Bailey's for me
small bottles of Bailey's.
A winter beverage.
Yes, it's probably a heavy drink. That's gonna be a nice cold.
Yeah.
On a cold weather type.
Exactly.
Day. It's not a hot summer drink for sure. Not a tiki cocktail.
No, it's not a hot summer night tiki cocktail.
So all right. So
Alex,
why did I pick this movie? I don't really know.
Yes, why did you pick this movie?
Why did you pick this movie?
Why did you inflict this movie on?
Well, let me go back to 1991. This came out.
91.
And it was, and this is where I think they made a big mistake. It was, first of all, Bruce Willis wrote this script. This is like the only script he's ever written. Yes, probably why. But it was. I saw the trailer, and I remember he had just done Die Hard and Die Hard 2, so he was
he had established himself as an action
hero. So that's how they promoted this film. That it was an action film, but it's not an action film. It's a comedy. It's a comedy through and through.
It's a cartoon.
It's almost a cartoon. It is silly, silly, silly. And I think that's why I told you don't go in with any expectations. Just don't go in with any expectations on it. Just watch it for what it is and then tell me what you think. Because the first time I saw it, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Because I was expecting Die Hard 2, like everybody else. But somehow, at some point in the 90s, I don't know, it was VHS, I was bored. It came on again, and I started to watch it, and I started to laugh at stuff. And I'm like, okay, I think this movie has some merit. It still gets really bad reviews, but I still think it has. I think there's some funniness into it. As long as you take it as this is just a funny movie. It has no. I kind of like it. I don't know why. So
it's light. It's fluffy.
Tell me what you think.
You can turn your brain off, put your feet up, and just let this thing play. I had never seen it before. You were wise to warn me to not expect anything. To me, it was a cartoon. It was very much a cartoon. And I have to admit, I did get a couple like laugh out loud moments there. But then there were other things I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. They said there was a lot of ad-libbing and the production was a mess.
And it showed. It showed.
I think
somehow it's its own little odd little funny thing. And if you take it as an odd little funny thing, you'll get a laugh out of it.
Like I said, don't try to look too seriously into what it is.
Don't
if you look at you pull some of the jokes out to me were just I laughed out. First, I thought one of the funniest things, and I don't know why I thought it was so funny, is when they're robbing the Vatican and he hits the TV antenna and the Pope's watching Mr. Ed. You know, and he starts hitting the TV with his big staff thing, because it's
trying to get it to.
Yeah. I don't know why I found that funny. I was there. Why is the Pope watching?
They were a couple funny moments. I was laughing at the dog too.
The dog, Honey Bubble.
Bun Bubble. This is the only script Bruce ever wrote, just like Star Trek V is the only movie Shatner ever directed. I see a pattern here. Yeah, Jeff.
Well, the thing, Jeff, with Star Trek V is that, and I think Bill will tell you this, Shatner, the budget was horribly slashed for it. Now, it's not a good script, but I think it got made worse. That movie got made worse by the fact that the studio just killed the budget.
Yeah.
So
this thing, I can tell you this thing had a budget of 65 million. Unfortunately, it only grossed 97 million. So while it did make a profit,
money back, yeah.
This is not.
It didn't do well at all. Didn't do well at all.
Yeah,
and I think
it's not
partly because of the marketing. And this was also the last film that TriStar did before they merged with another big studio. I can't think which one they merged with.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That's really relevant, but
it is a little bit relevant because one of the reviews I watched was like, this movie was so bad it killed TriStar Pictures, and I was like,
it might have been they were in financial trouble before this.
I don't know. They do still exist. TriStar still exists. They just merged and they've done stuff with other companies now.
Well, I mean, even Richard Grant, who played Darwin Mayflower, said this is the worst piece of shit.
Maybe it was
him and Sandra Bernhard hated it. They thought it was the dumbest.
Yeah.
And apparently now this was all Bruce that came up with it, and then he was really good friends with Danny Aiello prior to them.
And I usually enjoy Danny Aiello.
Danny Aiello, he was. I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. I think they should have played
singing.
I think they should have played that up more. There wasn't enough of it. There should have been more. There should have been more of that.
So the running gags were the coffee. They could have dumped that gag altogether. The singing, that was fine. Keep the singing. The big reveal about Anne, which is Andie MacDowell's character. She's co-opting a lot, right?
She's a nun.
I'm like, she's a warrior nun.
She's a nun, yeah.
That was the most interesting thing about the movie. Everyone likes a good, sexy nun. I mean,
Okay. But I think some of the funny things I thought the scene where when he's on the gurney going down the highway across the Brooklyn Bridge, I thought that was funny. I don't know why, because he was saying when he had to go through the toll booth and he's getting change out of his pocket, so he throws them, which those baskets, they don't even exist anymore.
There was one line he was like, "How's my driving? 188, we're all gonna die," or something. I can't remember. And I saw that in a clip alone, and that was hilarious by itself alone. But when you see it in the movie, you're like, "Oh, this is." I
thought the fact that he pulled the chain out of his pocket to throw it in the basket,
to throw it as he's whipping through,
the arm would go up was funny. I don't know. Now that scene took 3 nights to shoot, so they shut down the ramp to the Brooklyn Bridge for 3 nights to shoot that.
To shoot this, right?
Yeah, but that's not. There was a different where the toll. There was no toll on the Brooklyn Bridge at that time, so that was filmed somewhere else. But there was no toll booth there during that time. I think there might be one now, but the funniest thing is I thought about it, I'm like, those baskets don't exist anymore.
I remember Bill Sotak just right. Who under 35 remembers the coin toll machine? I remember the baskets. Throw the change.
In the basket. Yeah,
I remember those anymore.
Everything's either Easy Pass or you got to just actually pay the.
Yeah, I've got the thing stuck to my But here's the thing: is Bruce? The movie starts out so serious. He's getting out of jail, and they're playing it really, really straight. So then later on, when it starts to get a little weird, you're like, what the hell is happening? And Bruce pulls some absolutely cartoonish faces, and they bother to stop and hang on his face for several moments to see this reaction, and then back to the action. It's weird. This whole thing is just weird.
It's a weird movie. I don't, and if people hate it, I get it, but I'm only defending it because I think it has some merit. I don't think it's as bad as people give it, because I think people were like me. They saw it, they didn't like it because they didn't really get it, and then they never went back and watched it again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day, I probably would have never given this a second thought. Now that I've actually bothered to look stuff up about it, and I realize, oh, okay, that's what they're trying to do.
I kind of like the premise. It's basically it's a thief movie. It's about stealing stuff.
Kind of a thief.
It's kind of a murder movie, but it's also this weird, the whole thing with Da Vinci and the gold machine and
action. Yeah, and then there's this weird little alchemy, so it's not quite science fiction.
Yeah.
It's very cartoony. They even had cartoon sound effects. There was that one scene where he was trying to punch him, and Bruce was like going
back and forth.
Body It was very cartoony, and then we've got our naughty nun running around.
I mean, it's got James Colburn in it. That's
It
gotta
has got James Cole.
It's
The
gotta have some
cast.
merit
Wait,
there, right?
let's stop right now. Let's just talk about this cast, because the cast was very interesting, and there's some very interesting characters. David Caruso's in this thing. James Coburn, like you said, come on IMDb, come up faster. Danny Aiello, who I absolutely
Shanda
adore.
Bernhardt, where's she been? I haven't seen her since the 90s.
Yeah, Richard Grant, who's gone on to do like a million things. You guys, if you don't think you know him, you do know him. You've seen him in something. He's everywhere.
He's doing tons of stuff.
Sandra Bernhardt, we haven't seen her in a hot minute. Who was the other one I was going to point out? Oh yeah, David Caruso.
Way before he did Jade.
And he plays Kit Kat, and he's the one, you guys, at the he never talks. He always has a card pre-printed.
That's right. That's the thing. See, I'm the antithesis.
That's his whole shtick. And at the very end, when he dies, or something was going on with
he gets shot with the cross.
He holds up the card to Andy McDowell. He's like, I always liked you. I always liked you. Like, it's just so.
And then the guy that plays Butterfinger, he's like the big Butterfinger, yeah.
And they left, and he's laughing. So they're all on the couch, paralyzed, and Butterfinger. I don't remember what was going on.
No, Butterfinger wasn't the one that died there. He died. He got shot with arrows.
Yeah, but when Bruce and Danny Aiello are on the couch, paralyzed, Butterfinger's behind them laughing. Yeah. That was an outtake. Like, that was not in the script, but they just left it in the movie because it was so funny to see him back there laughing. I don't remember why. I don't remember exactly what the scene was.
Oh, they were paralyzed because she had used some kind of curare on them. Then they were paralyzed from the neck down. So that was kind of funny because Bruce had his arm up like this. So when he got shot, he was supposedly stuck like that. So he's like, and he could do, and then he's trying to fight them with the neck. It's like, come here, I'm gonna get you.
And what was Butterfinger's name? His name is Andrew. No, that's not true.
Yeah, Andrew Bernarski.
Andrew
Bernarski. Yeah. I don't know what else let's see what else he's been in.
I did all roads for this. Not a road in sight. Like, there was like a couple stuntmen and a few other things, but honestly,
yeah, he hasn't done a lot of stuff. That
Almond Joy did go on to do Orange Is the New Black and a few other notable things.
I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sure, butchering it. But yeah, so the cast overall was good. I know. Andy McDowell was a last minute add-in. They had a couple of
it was also Madonna.
It wasn't. I forgot who they had.
It was Madonna.
Was Madonna supposed to be?
I think it was Madonna was supposed to play the naughty nun, and then she couldn't make it, or so I don't remember what the schedule was.
Isabella Rossellini was originally cast as Anna Baraglia, and then it was delayed, so she had scheduling issues, and then it was recast to Marshuka Dietmers. I can't even pronounce. I'm terrible.
No idea who that is. Okay,
but she had to leave a few days before shooting because of problems with her back. So, and at the last minute, they replaced them with Andy McDowell. So that's how that went. I didn't say anything about Madonna in there.
The other notable in this cast is, I could have sworn it was Madonna. Maybe, see, I listened to other YouTube channels and they could get it wrong. You never know. The other notable person in this cast was Frank Stallone. That's Sly's brother. He was in there as one of the Mario and whatever Caesar. Jeffrey was asking, is this like Buckaroo Banzai weird? And Bill is saying Buckaroo was weirder.
Maybe. I don't know. Buckaroo was better.
More comedy. Buckaroo was kind of funny too. But it was unintentionally funny. This is like trying to be funny and not always
trying to be weird. This was just trying to be straight up comedy.
On Big Booty.
It was trying to be straight up comedy with a little bit of action.
Straight up comedy action. Buckaroo was meant to be an action, and then there was incidental comedy.
Well, I don't know. I disagree with that on Buckaroo. I think Buckaroo was supposed to be, there was humor in it. I can't see how they could make that film and not see that there's humor in it.
How do you name your bad guy? John Big Booty and John this and John that. And John
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can't, there's no way. So
yeah, when you put Lithgow and who was the other one there? In a room together. They were all the bad guys, right? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I forgot. I have to go back and look. Yeah, but Lithgow was
We
definitely
did,
the.
Jeff. We did Buckaroo a long time ago. Mike, and Denise Okuda were very
Yeah, they
instrumental.
actually were on. Go back and go way back to the
Go
beginning.
way back, like scroll back, you'll
Way
find our
back to
Buckaroo
like
episode.
3 years ago, and Mike
Yeah.
and Denise Okuda came. And Mike and Denise Okuda, they actually got together. Part of their together story is the Overthruster.
Yeah, the Overthruster.
Because Denise
And
came
which you
into the
can
art department
see-
at Star Trek, and Mike had an
Yes.
Overthruster, and he wasn't there. And she asked, "Who's the guy with the
Overthruster?" Yeah.
And that's how they got together. And they will
And
tell
the-
you that the Overthruster makes an appearance a lot in Star
It
Trek.
does. And you want to know one place when they're in the Riker and
In
who
the
went with them?
The Phoenix.
Yes, the Phoenix. Thank you. And they're going up with Zephram Cochrane there.
Yeah,
Look
the
behind them,
Overthruster's
right
in the
on the
back,
thing
yeah.
behind them. There are oscillation over.
Yeah, Mike. It's Mike. Mike sticks his Overthruster everywhere. That just sounds.
The
dirty.
Overthruster is everywhere. It's even on the cover of his encyclopedia.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah. So they're definitely big Buckaroo Banzai fans.
Jeff Rubel, looking at screenshots, Sarah Bernhardt. Yeah, she had a moment in the 80s. She was everywhere for a hot second in the 80s. She was the it girl for a minute. And then
she's not attractive. She's got
she
really
had a
weird
bod on her.
She's very weird looking.
Had a bod on her, and if you look at that power when she's sitting there singing, "I've got the power."
Yeah, no, yeah.
Look at her legs. Her legs go for days.
She was always
legs
comedic.
days.
Yeah. Actually, that character was
she
added.
was a comedian. She was never meant to be,
No, she was, and she character
never
was
styled
added.
herself as the sexy leading lady. She was a comedian and knew it.
Absolutely. Yeah, her character was added late in the production. It was originally just going to be a single male villain.
Yeah, I don't know why they.
And then they were going to get Katharine Hepburn to do.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Be a female villain.
He could have played like his mom.
Darwin's it was Richard Grant, and then they added Sandra Bernhard.
Yeah, we know Jeff.
Ironically, Richard and Sandra became really good friends as a result of this movie, and are still friends today.
Oh, are they really? Oh, that's awesome.
So, and because they were the two on the set going, "This movie's a piece of shit. It's a mess," because the whole production was a mess.
Richard,
so,
Richard Grant. Some fan walked up. I love Hudson Hawk, and Richard Grant was like, "Why?" Like, you idiot, why?
Yeah, why do you like this movie?
Why do you like it?
I think it was actually
his character. Yeah, go ahead.
It was Mark Kermode. I don't know who that is, but that's the one who told him, "I love this movie." And the guy was like, "Why? He's just a podcaster, I guess."
Some people do, but his character in the movie actually introduced himself. What can I say? I'm the bad guy. Like he's literally telling the people in the car, but also the audience at large. Okay, guys, I'm your resident.
His whole thing is, I made my first billion when I was 18. Where do you go from there?
Yeah. The thing about this movie that I think irks people, although it shouldn't, because it's completely, is all their song timings are wrong. Like they'll say "Swing on a Star" is 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It's not. That's wrong. And then everything about Leonardo da Vinci was wrong. Like straight up wrong.
Actually the models that they used were all pretty much accurate, with the exception of the flying thing at the end.
Yeah, the helicopter thingy.
No, the helicopter was accurate as far as the drawing, but there was the thing they actually escaped up from the castle.
Oh, yes, that flying thing. With the fixed wings,
that was not
right?
That was not Da Vinci.
It
was Da Vinci-like, but it wasn't an exact copy of what Da Vinci drew.
It's a glider, because they actually had to glide in real life, so they probably had to make it.
I don't know, but again, we
don't
take this movie. I thought that was pretty funny because Diana Aiello's character goes off a cliff
in a car
with James Colburn on the hood, and it explodes, and he's in the back seat. Diana Aiello's character,
and you're like, "Oh, I guess he died."
He's dead with James Colburn. Of course, James Colburn's last word was my what do you say? My pension, because he's going my pension, because he's a CIA agent. But the funny thing was, he showed, of course, Diana Aiello's character shows up at the very, very end, and they're like, "How are you alive?" And he's like, "Airbags, can you fucking believe it?" But they're like, "It exploded.
There's a fire system.
Can you believe it?" No, we can't.
And she just completely gives up. And at that point, she's like, "Okay, I guess I'm not."
We're all like, "Okay, guess we can believe it," because they knew how ridiculous it was. Because there was no way he would have survived that. So
it was just
again, it was just part of the movie. You knew it was just matter. It was just stupid.
Yeah. But it's a long journey to get there. The movie starts out so serious. You're like, right when he's getting out of jail, like you think, okay, I get the feeling for this, and then it just very quickly takes a hard right and never comes true.
It's the thing. The thing is, George Kaplan, who is what is James Coburn's character, is the name of the CIA agent from one of the Hitchcock movies.
Oh, but Coburn was in a spy show, wasn't he?
Well, he was in like Flint. All those in like Flint, which is what you hear when the little cuffs that they use to cuff Hawk.
Oh, is that
that's all from all those movies. Those in like Flint
that's funny.
And all those, that they use that tone. That was like his phone or something. And they used that tone. Actually, I think it was also in Mike Myers there.
Austin Powers.
Yeah, Austin Powers used it too. Again, as a tribute to the Flint movies.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
So yeah, that was one of the things. I recognized that right away, actually, when I saw the movie and I heard that tone. I'm like, oh, that's from In Like Flint. So anyway, it's. I know it's not. I don't know. People are like, why did you pick this movie? And hey, I'm just trying to keep you all on your toes.
Yay. Yeah, we are definitely on our toes.
On our toes.
We're on our tippy toes.
Did you like it? Did you like it or did you not like it?
I talked to. So when I'm yelling at the screen, when I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, I largely liked it. Am I gonna run right out and watch it again? Probably not.
No,
but yeah,
it
was funny. I definitely had a couple laugh out loud moments. I kind of chuckled at the Mona Lisa gag. They were
he didn't paint her teeth because she had horrible teeth.
She had horrible
teeth.
I
laughed at those stupid jokes. I don't know why. They were stupid, but I still laughed at them. So it was kind of like I said, I still cracked up with the Pope. I don't know why I found that so funny. You know, that he's sitting there he's watching Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
That's what he was watching.
So the Pope does in the evening.
Watches Mr. Ed.
He eats a little TV dinner, watches a little TV.
He's Italian. Yeah. So, did you notice there was also the running gag of the fat guard? Like all the places he robbed had a fat guard.
Oh, how did
it was actually the one that was almost caught him, which is
I probably got distracted by the little girl beating.
The little girl, that was hysterical. I thought that. She's like, damn,
what is she doing?
Crazy elephant.
She's just like randomly.
She's like swimming. She's like thinking. I love the fact that you're watching the thing, and all of a sudden the elephant just comes sailing in. Doink.
Yeah.
He goes, that crazy elephant. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Of course, they should have had him steal because he didn't steal the last piece.
Here's the thing:
from the Louvre. I love that. That one gag is from. She goes from the Louvre in Paris. You mean from the Louvre in Milwaukee?
like there's any other Louvre.
Like we're going more than one Louvre.
They didn't need to hire the Hudson Hawk to steal anything because eventually by the end of the movie they wanted Michelangelo's helicopter. They just went and stole that themselves.
They did a terrorist attack. Yeah, that's what they kind of said is like you could have avoided all the deaths of those guards because they just went in there and killed everybody to get it. That's what they kind of said that if you had just done it, all those people wouldn't have died. But whatever, done is done. Kind of thing. I guess you probably could get away with that once. I don't know if they get away with it 3 times.
In this movie, anything's possible.
Well, that was the whole point. He was like the famous cat burglar. He was, and clearly he was very good at it. Within a day, she even said one day, and he was able to steal the coda.
That's true. He did steal the coda. This very fragile and delicate book. He hooks it with like a hook.
With a pocket fisherman.
Yeah.
He gave the list. I need olive oil, 100 stamps, a pocket fisherman. I don't know what the other thing was. Hairspray.
Like a lot of movies of the era, a video game based on it was released. It must not have been very good.
That. It was probably horrible.
It was probably horrible. I never heard of it.
As we talked about this, most video games that are based on movies are bad.
That's true. That's true. So it did receive 3 Golden Raspberries, and it was nominated for Worst Picture at the Stinker Bad Movies Awards. People didn't like this movie for some reason.
People didn't like it. No, you know what? We're not always about the blockbusters here at Sci-Fi Distilled.
Hey, we bring it all to you. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
We got to scrape the bottom of the barrel. If Roy can do Santa Claus Goes to Mars,
that's true.
We can do Hudson Hawk and hold our heads high.
Yeah, that's true. We can. Rizzo, you touched on why this wasn't liked. You touched on this earlier, and you're absolutely right. This performed so poorly in the United States because it's meant to be an absurdist comedy, and it was marketed as an action film. So that right there just screwed everybody else up. If you guys if you haven't seen this and for some reason you decide to check it out, go into it knowing it's an absurd comedy. It's an absurdist comedy. Nothing is real. It's very cartoonish. Just know that. And then you're going to think it's great.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's what I told you. If you haven't seen it, no expectations. Don't watch trailers.
Yeah.
Don't watch the trailers for it. Just go watch the film. I'm not saying it's going to blow you away and like you're going to be like, oh my God. It's
but you
like,
might get a laugh out of it.
And those of you that did watch it back in the early 90s,
what'd you think?
And didn't like it then, I would say if you really, if you're bored and have really nothing else to do, think about maybe giving it another shot and see if you could see that the way I saw it the second time around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I did, once I knew what it was, and I started saying, you know what, this has some of the comedy is not bad. I mean, some of it's pretty funny. So it's not like bust your gut laughing, but
no,
anyway.
True. But there's a couple, I had a couple laugh out loud moments.
Yeah. No, like I said, Pope, Mr. Ed.
There's this whole deleted, and you can find them guys on YouTube. There's this whole deleted, it's not even a subplot. It's just this other little running gag. And you can find all of these deleted scenes on YouTube about a monkey. So Bruce Willis's character had a pet monkey, and he leaves it in the care of Danny Aiello, and he goes off to jail. And while he's in jail, the monkey gets assassinated. And when he comes out of jail, he asks Danny, "Okay, so where's Little Ed? Little Eddie? Maybe Little Eddie. Where's Little Eddie?" And Danny Aiello's like, "Okay, brace yourself. I got some really bad news." And so then he tells him the monkey got assassinated by the Mario Brothers. And so then when he has his meeting with the Mario Brothers in the bar, that again, he brings it up, you killed my monkey, like there's this whole subplot, and they wisely, I think, chose to delete all of this because I don't know if it really added anything, but it's still kind of interesting to see if you guys are.
Yeah, and the funny thing is there was a running gag with Nintendo and Mario Brothers.
Yeah, and the Mario
because
Brothers.
They're saying he'd been in jail so long he didn't know what Nintendo was. Now remember,
he didn't know
in the late 80s, early 90s, the Nintendo NES was the video game system that everybody had.
Yes.
Okay, it was the Xbox / PlayStation of the day. Everybody had one. It was how you were playing Super Mario Brothers.
Exactly.
Or that was it. Everybody had one. So that was kind of a running gag that he had been in there so long that he didn't even know what Nintendo was. So, but the other thing which was funny was the whole running, like you said, I think the running gag that he was the only one that didn't know she was a nun. He kept hitting on her, and
she was doing a good job.
She was trying to, and then of course, I think the thing with Diana Aiello is laughing his ass off on the couch, knowing that it's not going to happen, buddy.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That was a funny scene. Bruce is like trotting off to the bedroom, like, oh.
Yeah, come on. He's like, it's not going to happen, buddy. No, sorry. That's not happening.
Christopher LaRoche says it's a guilty pleasure. He says, my Bruce Willis guilty pleasure is Reds. Yeah,
I'm familiar with that film, yeah.
Chris, we have a surprise for you at the end of the show.
Yeah, we have
regarding next week.
Not doing Reds per se. That's what you're saying.
No, it's not Reds per se, but and Bill's watching my dog. Yeah, the dog is doing
the dog is.
I don't know.
What's she doing back there?
I don't know. Digging up the pillow.
Tearing up a pillow. Nope.
I don't know.
Knocked it off. Now
it's my sci-fi distilled pillow, so
Well, don't have her wreck that.
Let me grab it.
I have my sci-fi distilled Eat Here Get Gas shirt on today. So
I got my old sci-fi.
The old, that's the classic. That's the classic logo.
Classic logo.
Stuff.
Pretty soon there'll be another sale.
Still available online, folks. Yeah, I know. I haven't gotten a sale thing. I have to go check, see if there's anything. Christmas is coming. Or it's already Labor Day.
It's going to be September 1st. I said this at the top of the show. It's going to be
Friday, September 1st. Can you believe it?
I cannot, actually. I cannot believe it.
I know. Where did our summer go? Where did our
It
summer go?
flew by. Like
We're still reeling from Ticonderoga.
I am kind of still reeling from Ticonderoga. I spend most of the year in dread of Ticonderoga, and then when it's over, I'm like,
my question about Ticonderoga is how much repair work did James have to do after Jonathan?
I don't know. I need to ask. I don't know.
He went through there like a freight train because I swear he was purposely trying to break stuff.
Oh, he was looking for stuff, and I don't know.
You heard about him slamming the chair back on the table,
I heard the whole story. Yes, I heard he was breaking stuff off the captain's chair. He was
I saw. He was pretty rough.
He was
rough with the captain's chair. He was really rough.
Looking to be entertaining, or if he was bored with the whole thing. I don't know what was going on there, but
probably well, it's none of my business. But he was funny.
He was funny.
He was great on his live on stage. If people that didn't get to see him, he was really entertaining. I mean, the first thing he did was go out and sit in the second row, and James is on stage, and he's like, "Go ahead, do your thing or whatever." Like he was going to be a part of the audience, and so, but he was pretty funny. I hope he comes back because I just think people loved him, even damage aside.
I hope he comes back too. We do love him, damage aside. Chris is saying we're all still roasting down here, the sick bay table. Did he break the sick bay table? Chris, you're not in the path of the hurricane, are you?
No, he's on the East Coast.
Well, it's gonna go right. Actually, it changed.
And he might get it from the backside. That's true. Yeah. So of course, anybody obviously in the past.
Is it going north of you, Chris, or is it gonna?
It looked like it's gonna go come up around Tampa Bay and then go straight across, and then I think up into the Carolinas a little bit.
I think it's going to go up.
It's supposed to go back through like a curve. Thank you, high pressure system from Canada.
Yes, one of the projected paths made it look like it was going to just
curve. No, the last I saw,
it's
curving and going back south out to the Atlantic. And
Chris says, "No, I am safe." Good, I'm glad.
Well, good. And we want everybody, of course, regardless of where you live, but we hope everybody's safe in this thing.
Bill says, he was.
It's not affecting New England at all.
Yeah, not this time.
Not this time. So
Bill's saying he was swinging the tapestry chair and James was going to have a heart attack.
But you know what? Cost of doing business, the way I look at it. But then again,
repaired.
I'm not the one that has to prepare it, so I can say that. So
all right, shall I say what's coming up?
Yeah, I don't really have a lot else to say about this movie other than I just thought it was a fun one, something different to do.
It is a fun one. It was very different, very, very different. And thank you for kind of warning me going in, because I think I would have, honestly, especially the way it started, expected the typical Bruce Willis action.
And that's I think what really, really gave it its bad rap was people were expecting Die Hard 3.
Yeah. I mean, I really was not expecting it to go quite as cartoony as it did, but you know what? I'm down for a little absurdist comedy. Sure, why not?
There you go. So, what does Roy and Phil and other parts?
And Phil is trotting out the new fall schedule over there at WUSB Stony Brook. So he's got a couple things going on. He'll do a live broadcast from the Bradstock Music Fest on Sunday. I have no idea what Bradstock is. And then on Friday, he'll be previewing music from bands that are performing at Prog Day in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. That's a progressive rock festival. Roy, I don't know if he has anything this weekend, but on Friday, September 8th, that is Star Trek Day. And I know you Canadians say it's the 7th, but here in the States, it's the 8th. So Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi will have his 200th episode celebration on Friday, September 8th. And because it's Star Trek Day, they will be doing the Menagerie. And it sounds like it's going to be one of those episodes where we can all join in if we wish. If Roy's coming up on his 200th, we must be coming up.
We got to be close somewhere in there. I don't know. I don't keep count like he does.
Although maybe not. Maybe we're coming on our 100th because he does twice a week.
That's true. He does too. Yeah, he's at least twice as many as us because can I help you? Yes, I'm busy right now. Thank you. My dog.
She wants to be on the show.
I know. She does this every time I'm on a call. Something.
Oh, hi, Martin. Where were you? Hi.
Anyway, yeah. So we should probably do something. Maybe we should do something for Star Trek.
We absolutely. It's the 6th. We'll be on. Today's the 30th. Next week will be the 6th. So, Chris, we were going to do Guilty Pleasures next week, but we could push that a week and do something for Star Trek.
We probably good because we have another. What we're going to be doing, and I need time to work on, is we're going to work up. I'm calling it quote Jeopardy.
Quote
So
Jeopardy.
we're gonna get a group of people on here, and we're gonna do it like Jeopardy, so many points in different categories, and I'm gonna come up with a list of movie quotes from mostly sci-fi. There might be a few that are more not necessarily sci-fi, but they might be cult films, and see who can win the big prize of nothing.
You guys can all
bragging
play.
rights is all you win.
We'll figure out how to do it. He has some great categories lined up, so now we just need to.
I got to fill in. It's just going to take me time so that'll happen when I get all, and then I figure out how we're going to do it. I guess because you're just going to have to raise your hand, and then I'll decide who rose their hand first. I don't know. I don't know how else to do it.
I don't know how we're going to do this, but we'll figure it out.
I don't know. I got the idea from Phil at Ticonderoga doing the musical Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be good. And I thought music would be a cool one to do or have Phil do it for us. But then we run into that. If we run more than 10 or 15 seconds of a song, we run into that copyright issue. Yeah. So we have to be careful there. Not
Quotes is fine. We can do it. Like you guys know, if I said the quote is you're going to need a bigger boat, you'd be like.
You'd know what it was. Yeah.
You'd know what it was right away, right?
So and I think what Phil was doing, it was either composer or film or TV show that it came from.
That sounds kind of hard. I would never know the composer. Well, I might know.
So that's why he said if you knew what it was from, you didn't need to know the composer. Like if you knew the movie or whatever. So.
Sci-fi. Chris says it's going to be sci-fi distilled.
No, not sci-fi. No, we're not doing music though, Chris.
I'm not going to sing. Why am I singing?
So yeah.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Speaking of Phil, he did really well. I got my skydiver. See that from UFO? You guys didn't notice? Skydiver. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Phil.
Phil brought a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Phil did all right. I think he sold most of his stuff to his friends. I bought an eagle. Bruce bought an eagle. I brought the skydiver too from him. I brought George Jetson from him. Anyway, so
all right. So I've written Star Trek ? For next week since it's September 6th and September 8th is Star Trek Day. And then I've written guilty pleasures for September 13th.
That'll probably work.
Yeah,
I won't be around on the 8th because I will be in Ottawa.
Yes, Rizzo is going to go work the Ottawa Comic-Con.
Going to go to the Ottawa Comic-Con. Partly because Tawny's going to be there. Newsom from Lower Deck.
I'm jealous. I'm not going to lie. I'm completely jealous.
I'm getting a photo op with Ensign Mariner.
Mariner Beckett, she's the best.
Mariner Beckett and Giancarlo Esposito is going to be there.
Giancarlo, I love him. I love him in everything
so
he does.
That might have to be another photo op. I might have to cough up the money.
What did I just watch? And he was in it, and I was like, oh, I hope he comes back because he was kind of.
Well, he was in Mandalorian.
He's in Mandalorian, but I just watched him.
And of course, he's been his biggest fame is Frink from.
Oh, Boys! I just watched him in Boys.
Oh, yeah, he's in the Boys. Yeah, he plays the CEO.
I'm hoping he comes back.
He's pretty much he's the CEO of the main company there. So
and then he kind of disappears though. So we'll see how that.
Yeah, goes. I think I don't know what season you're in of the Boys. So
and I don't know, guys, what week we will do Jeopardy, but we will play Jeopardy. It might not be till the top of October, and that's okay.
So that's it. I have nothing else to talk about.
Nothing else.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? It was fun. It was
fun. It was not a bad. I know. I knew everyone was gonna pile on me, going, "Why did you pick this horrible movie?" But
I wanted to. I started to, and I thought, no, you know what? Here we always try to see the good things. We try to keep it positive. I've got to.
It's okay if you didn't like it. I'm first person to say that it's okay to not like something.
Not for everybody.
But I think there was merit in it. I think there was some value to it. It wasn't a completely horrible piece of crap. So.
Alex is ribbing you.
Yeah, I know. That's what she does.
That's what she does.
That's what she does. So, okay, guys. Well, thanks for watching as usual. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, live long and prosper. Good night, folks.